Hello guys, just thought I'd try and put a bit of a video together on what I use to do any of my dog's nails from a maintenance perspective. There are lots of things you can buy and make and use. So yeah, I've always liked to use basically an everyday file. It makes it easier to tell how close you are to the click. It's gradual and you don't have to snip off too much and get blood and whatever. I also made a few prototypes. This is just a bit of water pipe with a belt sanding disc glued to it. The same with the box. I also have a handheld one that I use, and a lot of people use them, is the trusty old Dremel. I do like to use this at times, but like I say, my preference is the file. I'll show you how I use them all in a minute. Cheers. Alright, this is the clippers. A lot of people use them. I'll use them occasionally if the dog's nails are very long. I don't like to take too much off. Has a guard, as you can see, that's probably about 5mm. I would never take that off in one hit. I like to move the guard out the way and just have a slight part of the nail clipping through, and little is good. Okay, this is a Dremel, small battery, small unit, variable speed. Turn it on. Basically, it's got a small rotating sanding disc. I like to use it probably set at about 10 out of 30. I use it more than I use most of the other things, but in reality this is gentle as well. If you go too hard on them, it can cause a bit of heat in the nail and the dogs don't like it. And my boy's not super keen on the smell of burning nails, so he prefers the file. Alright, this is the file I've used. Basically, you can pick them up from Bunnings or any hardware store. I really like these because you've got control over how much you use, how much pressure you put on, how much nail you can take off. If it's a big job, like you haven't done your nails for a long time, you can do 4 or 5 strokes per night per toenail, and then come back the next night and do another 4 or 5 strokes. You don't have to make the nail completely short in one hit. I'll show you how I use them all later, but this is by far my most favourite, because you don't have any accidents and no bleeding from going too deep or too quick. Okay, so these are the clippers. I really don't like using these. Issue being, like I said, with the guard, if your dog flinches or moves just as you're about to cut the nail, it can cause an accident. If you have a look, you can actually put the toenail right the way through, which is super bad. You don't want to be cutting anywhere near that much off. I'll move the guard out the way. I'll support the toenail with the thumb and finger, and I will basically take off possibly 1mm. That's about it. The same on all the toes, just a smidge. And I'll go through, if I haven't done his toenails for a long time, I'll go through on all of his toes, and yeah, that's, a lot of people like to use them. I don't. I think if the dog flinches, there's the chance of an accident. Okay, this is how I use the Dremel. Usually I'll have him in a sitting position, pick the Dremel up, turn it on. Same as before, I actually support the nail with the thumb and forefinger, and just take a slight, more so around the outside than the middle. Eventually, when you get close to the quick will shrink back in as days go by or weeks go by. So you don't really want to be doing it all in one hit. And that's how that one works. These are little sanding patches, I suppose, for want of a better word, that I've made. This is just a bit of, like I said earlier, a bit of PVC piping that I've cut into basically in half, welded a sanding belt to it. This is just a block of wood, same thing, sanding belt on it, and this is a box with a larger sanding belt on it. My boy likes to give high fives, and he always gets a treat and a reward for doing good things. So I'll just tell him high five, or I'll say tap tap. He'll run his nails down there, I'll give him a treat. Same with this one, I just hand hold it, tell him to tap tap, and he'll give me a high five or scratch his nails down it. And this one I'll lift the lid, I'll put a treat in the box, put the lid down, tell him to tap tap, and he wants the treat, so he'll scratch on the lid, and then I'll lift the lid, tell him he's a good boy, and he gets the treat. Now wait, back it up. This is the box I've made for him. He really enjoys this because he knows he's getting foods and treats out of it. So I will wait. Excuse me, wait. So I lift the lid up, put some treats in, put the lid down, and I tell him to tap. Where's it? Inside? No, inside. Good boy. Good boy, mate. Good boy. And that's his reward. That I find with this, it doesn't get all the nails even. It usually wears the two middle ones out first, more so than the second ones, than the outside ones. But the beauty of this is he will stop when his nails get too short, because if he keeps going they'll become sore. So, good boy, tap here. Other ball. Good boy. Good work. Put it in there. Back. Now the same thing goes for the tube. I usually hold it here, usually if I'm sitting down, and I'll just say to him, tap tap mate, good boy, settle, tap tap, this one, good boy, and some more, push, good boy. And I'll also do it with the small handheld one if I'm like going away to a dog show or something like that. It's easy to put in the car, and because he likes doing high fives and the likes, I'll just tell him to tap. Tap one, careful, tap tap, good boy, more. Other paw, tap tap, good boy. Now obviously this only works for his front paws. I've yet to teach him to do a high five with his back paws. This is what we do with the file. He's not super keen with it, but he doesn't reject it a lot. I find it's a lot easier to be able to do the back paws with him. So all I'll do is from here, I just manoeuvre him into place. The front paws we can either do standing, and same as earlier, you can see that they've worn down a bit from the sanding, but all I do is nice gentle strokes around the outside of each nail, and I'll do that on all nails. More so all nails on this boy because he's used to it. So that will be how I do the front ones. The back ones, I can also do that with him from a sitting position. Sit. So we can do the same thing from a sitting position. Just hold the fingernail, the toenail, sorry, and gently rasp it across. And you're looking for a lightness coming through the toenail, which means you're getting close to the quick. If you go too deep and you actually start to file into the quick, he will let you know because he'll be very sore, and if you go too far it'll start to bleed. What I'll do now is back nails. With this lad, I'll actually just straddle him this way, and move around so the camera can see, and from here I just lift up his foot, rest it like that, and each toenail, like I said earlier, I'll grasp between my forefinger and my thumb and just give it a nice rasp on either side. If they're super long, I'll take a bit off the top, off the front of it, but that's basically how we do the toenails. Go on to the next toe, same again, holding it firm. I find it's better to hold the toenail than the toe, because then it won't move and it won't sort of bend. If you've got just hold onto the toe, the potential to bend the toenail, make things uncomfortable for them, is always there. So always grasp the toenail itself, and once he's done it, you tell him he's a good boy, give him some treats. Hey, you good boy? Good man. And that's pretty much it. The more you do it, the shorter they get and the easier they are to maintain.